So if we look at what we did yesterday, we had our index as a whole number, not as a fraction. So how do you remove something like that? You need to remove it with a fraction. I think that's the difference between what we did yesterday and then what we're going to do today. So if we look at the index yesterday, it was a whole number. How do you remove a whole number? You need to multiply with the fraction of this thing. So for example, when we said we had -2, so how do you remove -2? -2, it's -2 all over 1. If I want to remove this, I need to remove it with -1 all over 2. So if going forward is true, it means which going backwards should also be true. So if I want to remove a whole number, I remove it with a fraction. Remember, how did you do this one? We said we have x -2. And then I'm going to multiply with -1 all over 2. And then whatever I do on the left-hand side, I should also do it on the right-hand side. And then we said we got our answer here as this one here is going to divide this one, and then we're going to be left with x to the power of 1, which we don't write, which is going to be equal to 3. Now, are we done? We don't know if we are done or not done unless we come and check here, the exponent. If the exponent is an even number, so if you have an even number here, then you will have two solutions. If you have an odd, then you're only going to have one solution. So here, because we had an even number, so we have 2 as an even number. Now, whether it's negative or positive, it doesn't matter, as long as it's an even number. An even number, it's a number which is divisible by 2. If it's divisible by 2, then you come and say your answer should have a plus and a minus. So it means basically you can say x is going to be -3 or x is going to be equal to 3. Not that you have to do this step because you've already told us here. It's just that you are making it clear to say that you have 2 answers here. Now, what are we doing then today? Today we want to look at how then do you deal with fractions. And then the way we deal with fractions, it's similar to what we have done, nothing special. So how did I remove -2? I removed -2 by multiplying with the inverse of -2. How would I remove -2 all over 3? I will have to say, okay, I have -2 all over 3, which is going to be inverse. What will be the inverse? It's going to be -3 all over 1 all over 2. So this one goes up and then this one goes down. So you have the inverse that way. But the challenge with this one is that it doesn't have only x on its own. You see that? So before I can remove this thing here, I'm going to start by removing that 3. And then it shouldn't be that much of a hassle. How can I remove that 3 then? Okay, let me divide by 3. And then divide by 3 here. And then if I do that, I am going to have so I will have x to the power of -2 all over 3, which is going to be equal to 9, if you type it in your calculator. And then we want to remove this thing now, because now we only have x as the variable, we can then remove the exponent. If you remove the exponent, then you are going to multiply both sides with minus. We are not multiplying with -2 all over 3. We're multiplying with what? -3 all over 2. And then even this side, we're going to multiply with -3 all over 2. Now, what then happens is that this and this, they are going to give us x to the power of 1. We could then. And then we come and check on our calculator. Let's type 9 close bracket to the power of -3 all over 2. And then it says our answer is going to be equal to 1 all over 27. So we have x is going to be 1 all over 27. Now, just like yesterday we spoke about odd numbers and then we spoke about even numbers. So we can either have 2 answers or we can either have 1 answer. Now, how do you know whether you have 2 answers or 1 answer? So on the one here yesterday, we said, come and check here. If your index is odd, for example, 1, how many answers would I have? I have 1 answer. And then I have x is equal to -6. How many answers would I have? It's 2. It's an even. Same thing here, we're going to use the same principle here, except we check on our fraction. We don't check everything on our fraction, we're just going to check the numerator. So we come and check the numerator, because if fraction in it has a denominator, it also has a numerator. So you check the numerator. If the numerator is even, then you have two answers. If the numerator is odd, then you have one answer. If the numerator is even, two answers. Eh? If the numerator is odd, how many answers? Anna, how many answers do we have in this case? Yeah? I don't hear. We have two. Why two, Anna? So it means our answer is going to be x is equaling to plus and a minus 1 all over 27. Then we can say, if we want to take it further, we can say x is going to be minus 1 all over 27, or x is going to be equivalent to 1 all over 27. But there was a question this side. You wanted to ask something? I heard someone saying 7. Oh, all right. It's fine now. So we are saying we are checking only the numerator, not the denominator part. Oh, like, yeah, because remember, yeah, you are right. Perhaps we should, let's check before. We should check our, let's check before we start with our question. And then we should know, like, for example, before I start with this question, I should know how many answers am I going to have here. How many answers do I expect here? I expect to have one answer. I think with that being said, we can then go into, let's try this one. I think we can try this. And then on this one, we'll come and do let's do number D, number E, number G, and number I. I think we can do this.